So I hear this question a lot. What would I do if I had to completely start my business from scratch? And in today's video, I'm going to share it with you. The entire business model that I would use to go from zero to a six-figure business online without any clients, any testimonials, any experience, and without the resources of my eight-figure company. I'm going to share with you exactly how this works, why now is the perfect time to use this particular business model, and I'm also going to share with you the business models I would completely avoid. So let's get straight into it. The business model that I would absolutely go for in this situation is selling digital products online, but not just any digital product. There is a wide variety of options you could go into. What I want to do is package up the knowledge that's in my head, put that into a very simple membership area where someone can consume that content and put a price tag on the entry to get login details to that area. Now, you might already be disqualifying yourself from this and saying, John, I don't have any expertise, I don't have any credentials that I could sell and that anyone would be interested in buying from me. And you need to understand, basically everyone on the planet could do this. You only need to be one step ahead of someone else. We are well beyond the time in our lives where we needed to have a qualification to be able to teach something to someone or 10 years plus experience. If you go to the gym and you try to get in shape and you're looking for a personal trainer, are you going to choose the person who has 10 years of qualifications but looks like a blob? Or are you going to go with the person who you don't even care about whether they've got qualifications? They look chiseled like a Greek god. You're going to pick the second category, aren't you? This illustration is to demonstrate that people that have a problem that you could potentially help them solve, they're not looking for paperwork and credentials. What they're looking for is someone who's just got the result that they're after and maybe a step or two ahead of them. Maybe for you, it's a hobby that someone else might be interested in. Maybe for you, it's a life experience that you went through, that now you've been through it, you can pass that knowledge back to someone else who's also struggling. And furthermore, keep in mind that what seems common knowledge to you could be a complete revelation to someone else. Now, there are a multitude of reasons why this business model is absolutely amazing, but I want to share with you two of the main ones. The first is your costs are very, very low. You don't have any shipping costs, handling costs, or anything like that because we're not selling anything physical. All we're doing is taking our knowledge, packaging up into a simple set of videos and putting that into an online membership area, and someone's going to pay us to get access to that. And this means the profit margin is absolutely incredible. And the second reason is the barrier to entry is so low. There's not a steep learning curve to get into this type of business model. We just need to learn a few simple steps to put the wheels in motion, and I'm going to share most of them with you in today's video. So I want to teach you a concept right now called the pop-up offer. This is going to allow you to create and package up your own online information course in record time. If we think about other business models, if this is a timeline from when you first have the bright idea, okay, and then over here is when you can actually start to sell it, most business opportunities, it's going to take you 6 months, 12 months, sometimes it can take you years before you're even in a position to start to sell it. That's going to assume that you're going to start to put this idea into practice and you're going to smooth out the kinks as you go, and you're going to continue perfecting the product as you go, getting market research, finding out what the market actually wants. And then what happens is you find yourself perhaps 2 years down the line and you're finally ready to start selling. Well, firstly, you've not made any money in that time. Secondly, what's to say that your ideal product that you think is now perfect is actually not what the market wants? You won't know until you start to sell it. So now you're 2 years out of kilter only to find out that your product's not selling at this point. What we want to do is we want to start selling here. We want to start making money from the very beginning, and then as we go, as we have buyers, as we have customers, they will help us to shape the product. And we can continue selling as we go, so on and so forth, until when we're 1 or 2 years down the line, we could have an absolute empire, a thriving 7-figure business. We've had many clients that have achieved a 7-figure information business well within the year, definitely within 2. So how do we do it? Well, we call it the pop-up offer. And the pop-up offer is where we create an idea for our course, but we don't actually create any modules just yet. We essentially launch this idea, we launch the help that we're going to provide to our marketplace in the form of one-to-one coaching. Now at this point, don't get scared off. If you don't want to be stuck doing one-to-one coaching forever, we're not going to be. But here's a very simple idea for what a pop-up offer could be for you, something that you could start selling straight away. Number one would be one-to-one calls with your particular client for perhaps a period of time. Maybe you make it 60 days and they get to speak with you once a week. The second thing you could include in your offer might be some resources. So that as they're doing the one-to-one calls with you, things are going to come to light at the end of those calls, and they're going to need a bit of homework, or they're going to need a checklist, or they're going to need their steps that they should be focusing on next. You could be creating these resources off the back of what you're hearing on these one-to-ones. And the third thing, quite simply, is access. You can find a way to give those clients access to you throughout the week. They've got their one-to-one call with you, and now throughout the week, maybe you connect with them on WhatsApp or via email or on some other application where they can ask those questions and you can respond back to them. How quickly could you set something like this up? Well, I'll tell you, in a matter of days, because you don't have to create a membership area. You don't have to record a bunch of videos. You are simply going to sell at this point your time in conjunction with your knowledge. And people who have a problem that you could help them solve will sign up for this. And here's the amazing thing. Over time, what's going to start to happen is you're going to get your first few beta clients, and off the back of your interaction with those clients, the questions that they're asking, the knowledge that you're providing in return, you're going to be able to start to craft the perfect course curriculum. So the more clients you work with, the more information you've got. The more information you've got, the better you can make your product, until eventually you no longer need to do one-on-one calls because you've started to introduce training modules, videos, and that will eventually replace the need for the one-to-one coaching. But by starting with the coaching, you're basically being paid to test the product. It's amazing. Now, the next thing you need to know is just how cheap it is to set this business up. You can do it on a shoestring budget. If you compare this to other business models, it is night and day how great this opportunity is. Think about starting an in-person physical business, whether that be a cafe or a restaurant or a boutique shop on the high street. You've got to go to the bank to get a massive loan to start things off. Then you've got to find a location. You've got to arrange a tenancy, probably agree to a 5 to 10 year tenancy term. Then you've got to kit the whole shop out. It's going to cost you 50 grand just to do that. You've got to buy your inventory and your stock. You've got to put that in position. And then all you've got to do is cross your fingers and just hope that you get some footfall in front of the business, and you're £100,000 or $100,000 already in debt for the business. Not a very good first business to get involved in. Let's even liken this to an online business where everyone's saying the opportunity's online, but again, they're not comparable in some of these cases. If you start selling physical products online, you lose the profit margin. Selling digital information courses, there are no expenses whatsoever. Whereas if you're selling a physical product, like I used to do, one of the ways I got started online was selling products on eBay. And I'd have to source the product, pay for it in advance, ship it over here to the UK first and foremost, then put the listing up, pay the fees to list it on eBay. The equivalent now might be Amazon or somewhere else. And then I've got the shipping and handling costs to get it out to them. I've got the physical costs of the goods. I remember back in the day when I was doing that, my profit margin was 10%. Compared to the profit margin of close to 100% selling your own digital course. The only thing you need to get the ball rolling is online software. Software that's going to allow you to build a website to present you and your brand, a software that's going to allow you to build sales funnels, a software that's going to allow you to handle your email marketing, to follow up with interested prospects and close a few more of those, software that will allow you to have a help desk so you can support your customers and support your leads. And the list goes on. There's a few other tools that you might need, but it can all be done with online software. Now, the issue is, and an issue that I've solved, is that before today, you needed to buy a different software product to do different things. You might invest in WordPress and some plugins to build your website. You might invest in a funnel builder like Go High Level or Kartra perhaps for your funnels. You might get a MailChimp account for your email. You might get a Samcart or Thrivecart account for your payments, Kajabi for your memberships, and Zendesk for your help desk. Not only is this going to cost you so much money to buy all of these different softwares, but furthermore, they can't communicate. They're separate softwares, which adds complexity when trying to bring them together in your business. And based on the theme of this video, if I had to start out from scratch and get to a six-figure business, I would need the path of least resistance. And that is where we introduce something that we call Funneler. It's a platform that myself and my business partner created that not only handles all of these things for you, your websites, your emails, your sales funnels, your help desk, your membership areas, and your course hosting, all in one price, so that you're literally slashing the cost of all of this software elsewhere. Now, there is so much I could say about Funneler and why it's the best solution for you when first getting started, but I'll leave that for our main Funneler page. There's a link in the description box. Go ahead and check that out and you can get all the details on Funneler and perhaps even grab a trial and come and play around with it. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, well, John, how much do we charge for this online course? And I think you might be, some of you pleasantly surprised, others of you, this will make you quite nervous. We're actually not charging a low ticket price. We're going to be putting a price tag on this of at least $2,000. Now, you might not right now believe that that's possible. You might not believe that your knowledge is even worth that. I absolutely assure you that it is. You currently don't know what you don't know. I've had clients of mine that have come to us and they're selling an online course for $40 and they did not believe they could charge more. And we managed to get them up to $2,000 and beyond, and people are happily willing to pay that. It really comes down to finding people that are so desperate for a solution, the solution that you can help them with, that they're willing to pay premium prices. But that's a story for another time. For now, understand that because we're charging a high price point, it's a really easy business model to scale. Follow me with this. We've got someone who's just purchased our program. Perhaps they heard about the opportunity to buy our program because we put an online sales funnel out there, okay? Maybe that online sales funnel had some information about our course and we found someone who was interested and they purchased. How did we get people to this sales funnel? We sent some traffic. Maybe we experimented with a Facebook advertising campaign. Maybe we experimented with a YouTube ad campaign. Maybe we made a post on our Facebook wall. Maybe we reached out to some friends and family. Regardless of how we got that traffic, once you've landed a customer and you've got some proof of concept, if you want to double your income, all things remaining the same, what would we need to do? We would just need to double our traffic. If we got 2 times the traffic, we'd get 2 times the people interested, 2 times the sales, doubled our income. If we want to take this from $2,000 to $20,000, not just in total revenue, but in monthly income, what would we need? We would need 10 new customers a month. So once you get some initial momentum, you can start to really scale this business quite quickly, just working with the numbers. How much traffic would I need to get X number of visitors, to get X number of sales, to hit my revenue target? And because we're not playing with low ticket numbers, we can start to compound this revenue pretty quickly. Furthermore, this business is so fulfilling. Imagine you take this knowledge that you've accumulated over the last few years, knowledge that you didn't think was valuable, and this video has inspired you. Perhaps it is. Perhaps we could put it out there. Now imagine you start to get this in the hands of those that need it, and they start to write to you, email you, phone call you, and tell you how life-changing this has been for them and what a difference it's made to their life. It's hugely fulfilling. And those stories are going to help you sell more of the program moving forward. It's a wonderful cycle that you start getting caught up in. You start to offer this training and you're nervous in doing so, but your first few customers love it and get a great result. They're happy to share their experience with you and others, and that helps you get more clients and more customers coming to you, and momentum builds, and so does the business. And believe it or not, one of the reasons why you'll have such a high success rate of your clients is because you charge a high price. If you are charging $20 for an online ebook or $100 for a video course, that is not expensive enough that people feel the pinch of the investment, right? It's an impulsive decision. You've probably experienced that before in your own life. Someone popped up on your news feed on Facebook or in an ad on YouTube and you purchased the product, but you didn't really feel the investment. It was an impulsive decision where you may have purchased that and never even gone through it. I've been there before. But now imagine that you pay someone $2,000. Are you just going to forget about that? Are you just going to ignore it? No, because you feel the pinch of that. You're actually going to try to get your money's worth. And if you try to get your money's worth, most likely you're going to go through that person's program. So as long as you've got good content that can actually help people, by charging people a high price, you by extension are being the accountability that they need to implement and get a great result. So now the final missing piece of the puzzle, okay? How do we find these customers? I want to share with you right now the marketing strategy that I've been using for a number of years now that works amazingly well. I mean, I've generated tens of millions of dollars in coaching revenue using the funnel that I'm going to share with you right now. It's very simple. Firstly, I have a couple of traffic sources that I use. I personally like Facebook and I like YouTube. Massive platforms, loads of reach, very simple advertising setups so we can run an ad quite simply and quite quickly. I'm going to send that traffic to a registration page that's going to ask for someone's name and email address. When they give that to me, they're going to join my email list. That's going to be a huge asset. Well, it is for me and it will be for you moving forward. You're going to be able to email these people for months and even years to come if they don't purchase on the first attempt. But back to the funnel. We're asking for their name and email address to build our list, but also to get them registered for something that we call a webinar. And a webinar, I'm sure you've heard of, but if you haven't, is an online training event. Someone registers to join you, not inside of a sales funnel, not watching a video on a page, but actually joining you for basically a video conference call. And it's on this webinar where we can do two very important things. Number one, we can provide value. If we have any hope at someone giving us $2,000, we can't just jump straight in with a sales pitch. That's not going to work. So the first thing we must do is provide value, and a webinar allows us to do that. The first part of our webinar, in fact, most of the webinar, highlighted here in green, can be content. You're letting the viewer get to know you, hear your story, why this is such a passion for you to help people like this, and maybe give a little bit of training to give them a tease of what it's like to get your help. And then this final piece at the very end of the webinar, once people know you, like you, and trust you, that's when you can say, hey, if this has been helpful for you and you would like the full package, I would love to potentially work with you one-on-one and help you get this result. This webinar system, as simple as it looks, running traffic on social media, building an email list, and sending people through a webinar, this has made me tens of millions of dollars, and I think it will really, really help you get a kickstart in this business as well. If you'd like to learn more about the webinar process in particular and what I say and do on this webinar to build such huge demand for buying products and services, I just did a stage presentation where I shared with hundreds of people exactly how I did just that. There's a video right here. Go ahead and click on that one. Check out that presentation. I think you'll really enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We put out great new content every single week. And also do me a favor, hit the like button on this video before you leave, and I'll see you in a future one.